This is CBC Nova Scotia News.
Off the job. A Truro police constable has not returned to duty after an alleged racial incident more than a year ago.
Wall of water. How sprinklers saved homes during two major wildfires in the province.
And Blue Jays fans in Nova Scotia cheer as the team heads to the World Series.
A quiet start to Wednesday, but our next system rolling in with wet weather from west to east. Late day into the overnight. Your full forecast is coming up.
Good evening. A Truro police constable remains off the job more than a year after a fellow officer threw a banana peel at his vehicle.
He believes the incident was racially motivated and remains unsatisfied with the town's response, even as he fights to keep his benefits and now faces his own complaint. The CBC's Luke Ettinger reports.
This is Truro Police Service security camera footage from June 24th, 2024. It shows two officers leaving the detachment in heavy rain. One is carrying a banana. The pair enter an unmarked police vehicle and drive toward Victoria Street, but not before the banana peel is tossed from the passenger window. It lands on the personal truck hood of Brent Bowden.
The first thing is disbelief that it actually happened. I know that the racial context between black people and monkeys are very relevant with bananas and what the undertones of that means, and it's nothing new.
CBC is not identifying the officers in the video because they've not been found guilty of any misconduct. Chief of Police David McNeil was made aware of the incident the next day, and internal meetings occurred in the weeks that followed. A statement from the town of Truro says a thorough investigation was completed on this incident prior to the filing of the Police Act complaint, which included reviewing surveillance video. There was no evidence to suggest this was done intentionally, said spokesperson Allison Grant.
My concerns were ignored. I was met with deflection, and there was no solution given to me other than I returned to work like nothing ever happened.
The military veteran and police officer since 2020 has been off the job since. He filed complaints to the Office of Police Complaints Commissioner against the officers involved and Chief McNeil. The first report said it was important to acknowledge the impact on Bowden and led to cultural competency and unconscious bias training at the service, along with recommendations to help guide complainants through the process. But in both cases, there was no finding of misconduct under the Police Act. Then Bowden filed a complaint with the Nova Scotia Human Rights Commission. He's also awaiting word on whether a complaint about his union will be dismissed or referred to a Labour Board hearing. Previously, a Workers' Compensation Board decision found the suspension of his benefits was not appropriate, but the town appealed this decision. And if he returns to work, Bowden will face the verdict of a complaint against him. He shared social media posts the complainant, also a town employee, described as malicious and false. It was during a social media storm when the incident was made public. While Bowden isn't sure if he will ever return to work at the Truro Police Service, he says a public apology would go a long way. And even if that never comes, he remains hopeful sharing his experience will have an impact.
I stand on the shoulders of ancestral giants that have paved the road for me to become a police officer, to be a military combat veteran of Afghanistan, to uphold the rule of law, to fight for people that don't have a voice.
Luke Ettinger, CBC News, Truro.
GoFundMe pages have been set up for the families of two children who died in a tragic boating accident on Lake Rosignol in Queens County. They've been identified as Lucy Cable Monroe and Adelind Gall. Both girls, under 10 years old, died after the boat they were in with a 45-year-old man and another child overturned on Saturday. All four managed to make it to shore, where the man started life-saving procedures until rescue crews arrived on the scene. They were all airlifted to hospital, where the two girls were pronounced dead. The man and the other child suffered non-life-threatening injuries. RCMP say conditions on the lake were rough at the time of the incident. Both Cable Monroe and Gall are being remembered as kind souls.
The brothers at the helm of the now defunct Joggins Volunteer Fire Department have been charged in connection with an alleged assault. It comes on the heels of the municipality of Cumberland deregistering the fire department. Fire Chief Christopher St. Peter faces 3 charges, including assault with a weapon and possession of a weapon for a dangerous purpose. The charges are connected to an incident in River Hibbert earlier this month, which his younger brother and Deputy Chief Dylan St. Peter has also attended, and he is also charged with assault. Sources told CBC News the alleged victim is his ex-girlfriend. Dylan St. Peter is also charged with sexual interference and sexual assault involving a person under 16. He has pleaded not guilty earlier this year. Cumberland Mayor Rod Gilroy said the decision to revoke the Joggins Department registration was multifaceted.
As 2 major wildfires raged in Nova Scotia this summer, hundreds of sprinklers were hard at work protecting homes and critical infrastructure. The operations were so effective that the province is buying more. The CBC's Allie Thompson explains.
These sprinklers just faced the Lake George wildfire. With that fire now under control, their work is done. For now. Nova Scotia is boosting its stockpile of wildfire sprinklers, given how effective they've been this season.
We're investing heavily in increasing our numbers from one end of this province to the other.
20 homes were lost in the Long Lake wildfire earlier this summer, but the province says sprinklers helped save 85 more. In Lake George, crews also used them to create a force field of water.
So around each community, we'd put sprinklers every 25 feet. The sprinklers shoot about 30 feet, so we get a crossover. And we just, created a wall of water around each of the little subdivisions that were around. So.
And this was a historic operation for the province?
I never thought about it until one of the VFDs looked at me and said, so that's more sprinklers than Long Lake. And I said, yeah, you're right. That's a lot more sprinklers than Long Lake. So.
That number, more than 600 sprinklers. So where do you get enough water for that many sprinklers? If there's a lake close by, crews can take it from there using pumps and hose lines. If not, you use these porta tanks. They hold 2,500 gallons of water and need to be refilled every 30 to 45 minutes.
So in order to do that, we need to have an engine at a lake to fill, and then we have at least 2 to 3 tankers, like 2,500 gallon tankers to 3,000 gallon tankers that are volunteer fire department, running the water back and forth to those tankers constantly throughout a shift.
Jason Burton knows just how effective sprinklers can be. They helped save his home during the Long Lake fire. His garage steps away burnt to the ground.
I want to thank you so much. Yeah. I truly appreciate everything that they did.
At the Lake George wildfire operations site, thousands of feet of hose is laying out to dry. Rockwood shows me how the system works on homes.
These are a system that just attaches into the gutters, so we just click those right onto a gutter, and then the hose goes in there and shoots on a nice 360 around the roof of the house, or these. So we put these on and they go right up to the peak of the house because we want to get the water up as high as we can if we're dealing with that big flame system.
Sound like a big operation? It is. It took them around 5 days to set up at Lake George.
Water on!
The systems are all housed in structural protection units. The province says it currently owns one and plans to buy additional units at a cost of $245,000 each. It also has arrangements with local fire departments who have their own units, so that when the next wildfire breaks out, they're ready to help protect your home. Allie Thompson, CBC News,
Speaking of the damp stuff, we got some today in Nova Scotia. Ryan Snoddon with us now.
Yes, definitely some water coming from the sky.
Yeah, and some good news in that most of the province got about 5 to 10 millimeters, and we actually did see a couple of pockets that exceeded 10 millimeters, particularly along the Atlantic coastline into the metro area. So yeah, some good news for sure. We need a bit more, and we're going to get a bit more. Temperatures, though, for Wednesday are looking quite lovely. For this time of year, we should be around 12, so we're going to be certainly punching above our weight. Note the southerly winds that will increase throughout the day on Wednesday. Looking at some showers rolling into western areas for the afternoon. Yarmouth, Digby, and Shelburne counties are the greatest chance for seeing those showers throughout the afternoon. And it's going to be Queens and Annapolis County that's next. And then eventually working their way westward. There are those shower chances for Wednesday afternoon ahead of the main line, which will then shoot through late afternoon and more so through the evening hours. Now, this is a quick mover, which again doesn't look set to drop a whole lot. 5 to 10 millimeters in the south, 2 to 5 in the north. A few more shower chances toward the end of the week into the weekend, but not a washout. We'll talk about that with your full 7-day coming up.
All right, thanks very much. See you then, Ryan.
Thank you.
In a surprise move, Premier Tim Houston shuffled his cabinet today. Energy Minister Trevor Boudreau, Justice Minister Becky Drouin, and Natural Resources Minister Tory Rushton are all out of cabinet. Scott Armstrong is moving from social development to justice, and Emergency Management Minister Kim Masland is adding natural resources to her duties. The Premier is taking on the energy file himself. Meanwhile, Hants East MLA John A. MacDonald is the new Municipal Affairs Minister, taking over those duties from Finance Minister John Lohr. And Glace Bay Dominion MLA John White was named the new Housing Minister, also taking over those duties for Lohr.
Today is one of the busiest days for cruise ships in Halifax. It was a wet and windy morning for passengers disembarking in Halifax. There are 5 ships in port today. Between them, they bring more than 11,000 passengers to the city. According to an economic impact study, the cruise ship industry brings about $2 million to Nova Scotia annually and supports about 1,000 local jobs.
Marine researchers say the latest population estimate for the critically endangered North Atlantic right whale continues a positive trend of slow growth in recent years. The North Atlantic Right Whale Consortium says the population is estimated at 384 animals for 2024. That's a slight increase over its estimate of 376 in the previous year. 11 calves were born this year. Meanwhile, there have been no right whale deaths, along with only 1 vessel strike and only 1 new entanglement injury.
Well, Toronto Blue Jays fans in Nova Scotia were delirious, and in the office at least today we're a little tired as their team clinched a berth in the World Series.
As the CBC's Kyle Moore reports, everyone seems to be rallying behind Canada's team.
At this Halifax bar last night, the party was on.
Game 7, all us, baby. Let's go. We're on series. Yeah!
Here comes the 3-2. He got him!
It's been more than 3 decades, but the Toronto Blue Jays are headed back to the World Series after a dramatic come-from-behind victory over the Seattle Mariners.
They're amazing. I'm really happy they won. I can't believe the way they did it, too. This is unbelievable, man.
And a swing and a fly ball to left field. Back goes Rosarena. She's gone!
George Springer's 3-run homer turned the tide for Toronto, and they never looked back. A hit many are still talking about today and will for years to come, and one Ray McNeil was there for.
I couldn't hear anything that anybody was saying to me for 10 minutes. It was just, it was that. My son and others around us, we were all yelling at each other, and I had no idea what they were saying.
McNeil is originally from Glace Bay, but now lives in Ontario. He's attended more than 1,200 Jays games since 1977. He says this playoff run feels a little bit different, and he's happy everyone is getting behind the Jays.
I've been well aware of the Cape Breton interest. There were some people at the game last night, or the night before at least, with a Cape Breton loves the Jays sign.
I just feel everybody's together. The grocery stores, the liquor stores.
Ronnie Locke was in Toronto for the ALDS and was hoping to be there for the World Series, but tickets sold out quickly.
I said, if we get to the World Series, we can beat the Dodgers. Our pitching is good. They have great hitting, and they have a great pitching staff. So do we.
Game 1 is Friday night in Toronto. Kyle Moore, CBC News, Sydney.
Yeah, they're excited. But a beautiful look at Wolfville. Ryan is up next with his full weather forecast. Stay with us.
This weather update is brought to you in part by Atlantic Lottery's iGames. Play hundreds of games on the Atlantic Lottery app or at alc.ca.
Oh, yeah, there were a few yawns around the office today for sure.
Yeah.
Well, 1 and 2.
Yeah. Baseball in October, if you're a fan of the Jays, doesn't get much better than that.
No, for sure.
Exciting.
I should have called for foggy patches today in everybody's heads, right?
Foggy was the forecast for sure.
We got some rain, though.
Yeah.
Nice to see and hear that rain this morning. We were just talking.
Times.
Yeah, and we were just talking about how foreign it seemed to with that rain really coming down. for at least a time. And for most of the province, it came down at a steady clip, at least for a few minutes, which is great. Have a look at our webcam video for this evening, and what a shot.
Oh, my.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
Nice.
Where's that?
That is Sandy Point.
Oh, nice.
Shelburne Harbor.
Yeah.
And the sun just going down there. So obviously the skies have cleared nicely in the west. We're still hanging on to the showers in the east. And as we look at those temperatures out there right now, 14, 15 degrees down through the southwest, 12 degrees at Sydney and Ingonish Beach, 12 at Keji as well. And you can see those current winds sustained in from the southwest, around 20 kilometers per hour for most. Grand Etang still into the southeast winds there, 56, gusting to 72. A little lay sweat this evening, and 'tis the season as those lay sweat winds are going to get rocking in the days to come as we get more of these storm systems, and we certainly hope to get more of these storm systems. A couple of isolated showers here over central areas of the province, Cobequid Bay, Colchester, Cumberland, but the main line, which has been moving from west to east across the province today, is indeed sailing through Cape Breton and starting to depart out into the Strait. And as we back things out, still some showers in through Cape Breton. The center of this big low is now in through and around the Great Lakes, and this is the next line of wet weather that's going to be tracking its way up and into our region. It will likely be less in most cases than what we saw last night into today. Have a look at the temperatures across the country right now, single digits from Saskatchewan right through to northwestern Ontario and St. John's, Whitehorse, at Vancouver just at 12, and of course the temps in the north cooling off ever so slightly, getting cooler and cooler as we move through the month of October. Those chances for showers departing. Overnight lows, high single, low double digits tonight. We're going to see those winds light, and this model doing a pretty good job of where that line is right now. So that kicks out, and as you can see for tomorrow morning, it's pretty quiet, though fog patches on the go. So yes, make sure you leave yourself some extra time and space tomorrow morning. And then as we move throughout the morning, we're going to see the clouds building up. Chances for showers really starting to roll into the afternoon. Digby, Yarmouth, and Shelburne counties, but a chance as early as lunchtime for you folks tomorrow. Note for Cape Breton, after a bit of a sluggish start, you folks into a lot of sunshine for tomorrow afternoon. A really nice day across Cape Breton and Antigonish and Guysborough and Pictou. Things clouding up pretty much late morning into the early afternoon for the metro area and central areas of the province. And then here comes that line, which will be working its way in late afternoon, but more so through the evening. But again, this model indicating it's going to be a pretty narrow band of showers that we will see. But there is actually even a slight risk for a rumble of thunder with that line coming through. Rainfall totals by the time we get into Thursday afternoon, we're looking at not a whole lot, to be honest. We're looking at a couple of pockets here that may push up towards the 5 to 10 millimeter mark, but generally it's going to be 2 to 5 millimeters across northern areas of the province. 16, 17 degrees across Cape Breton tomorrow. Again, a sluggish start with the clouds perhaps a little bit in the morning, but then off to a great day into the afternoon. Central areas, increasing clouds. The rain here arriving into the evening and back into the west. Those winds will gust to 50 kilometers per hour ahead of that line coming in, with those shower chances increasing throughout the afternoon. 16 to 17 degrees for Thursday. Chance for some hangover showers Thursday morning in through Cape Breton. That is because this line is going to take its time. So there we go, Thursday morning and then gone. And then into the afternoon on Thursday, we're looking at a pretty nice day. Chance for some showers for eastern areas on Friday. We should be around 12 degrees this time of year, so we're seasonal this weekend. Chance for some showers on Saturday. An isolated risk on Sunday with, looks like the clouds a little bit stubborn. We'll see some cooler air aloft, so it's going to be a little unsettled for what will be the last weekend of October.
Hard to
Tom
believe.
and Amy.
Wow.
Where does the time go?
All right.
Okay, thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Well, a group that brings free sport to areas of public housing in Halifax is hoping to expand to help more families.
Fun Sports was founded in 2019 as a nonprofit and is seeing a strong demand for its programming.
So it has rebranded as a charity to try to raise more funds to get more kids in sport. Gareth Hampshire has the story.
There we go. There we go.
That's Dave Green, the president of Fun Sports, an organization he founded in 2019 to try to remove barriers keeping some kids from playing. He started a multi-sport program in areas where there's public housing, and it's been growing every year.
1 in 3 Canadian families can't afford to put their kids in sports. And of course, when it comes to public housing, that number goes way up. It's probably more like almost every family here can't afford to have their kids in organized sport. You guys got to be ready to get your ball.
He's now hoping becoming a charity instead of a non-profit will make it easier to raise funds to grow further and for much-needed equipment for the 8 sports offered.
And of course, as a charity, a donor gets a taxable receipt. So, anybody who wants to donate to Fun Sports, they're going to get a receipt that can go against their taxes from CRA. So it really puts us in a whole different level.
When he started, there were about a dozen kids, but now it's around 50.
It's a great environment for helping out families. Honestly, anyone in need, it's a great experience. Every kind of sport. I feel every single child should at least have the experience to play some sports. It's extremely beneficial mentally, physically.
The coaches are all certified at the national level and volunteers who believe being involved in sports can be life-changing. Marvin Okello lived in a refugee camp in Kenya before coming to Canada and credits soccer for providing a sense of belonging.
Being able to now replicate that with these kids, make them feel like they belong, not just in their community, but in this world, and there's a place for them, it hits home.
The program is supported by the Mulgrave Park Caring and Learning Centre, where some staff have kids who are involved.
It teaches them responsibility, it teaches them the teamwork because they're working with other kids or have the coaches here that they have to listen to. So it kind of gives them that, discipline that they have to sit down, listen, do the sports and pay attention.
Now it's a charity. Fun Sports is beginning a fundraising campaign to try to offer its programming to other areas where there's a need. Gareth Hampshire, CBC News, Halifax.
Coming up, from sand beaches to salt marshes, we'll hear more about the rich diversity of Cape LaHave Island.
Cape Lahave Island, one of the largest islands in the province, is now a protected space. Municipality of the District of Lunenburg signed a conservation easement Tuesday with the Nova Scotia Nature Trust. And for more on this, we're joined by the Nature Trust Executive Director, Bonnie Sutherland. So first off, why is this place so special that it needs this kind of protection?
Well, Cape Lahave Island is 2,600 acres of relatively untouched coastal habitats. It has a rich diversity of habitats, everything from sand beaches and dunes to barrens and salt marshes and forests, and just a real diversity. And it's important to migratory birds. It's important to nesting birds, including endangered piping plovers. It has a number of rare plants and lichens, and the fact that it is 50 kilometers of shoreline and such diversity of habitats, it's rare to have an opportunity in Nova Scotia to protect that much intact coastline. So ecologically, it's just an absolute gem and really irreplaceable.
How are you feeling about it today?
Very excited. It's the largest project that the Nature Trust has ever achieved in our 30-year history, so it's a big one for us. And I think it's a really wonderful model of how municipalities can actually step up and be part of protecting Nova Scotia's natural legacy, and really much needed good news for our coast and protecting the places we love.
Well, what is the history of this island?
It goes back a long way. There is definitely Mi'kmaq connection to the island since time immemorial. And from the early 1600s, the French community there, and later the English had strong connections to the island. It actually became common lands at one point in history. And the community was very keen to ensure that it remained as it always was and intact. They cared about the environment, but also that human connection to Cape Lahave Island. So it sort of began more than 8 years ago with conversations about what an ecologically important asset the municipality had, and conversations about their potential interest in protecting it. And then the community spoke up and said, yes, we support finding a way to protect this. So,
well, in practical terms, what does that mean? What can't you do there? What can you do there?
So with a conservation easement, the municipality is still the owner. But the conservation easement is basically an agreement that we enter into between the Nature Trust and the landowner, and it ensures that nature is always protected. So it outlines what can and can't happen on the island, so it restricts activities that could harm the natural values of the island. So things like subdividing and developing or cutting the forest. Any activities that could not be conducive with nature thriving. But the easement also allows for and protects traditional use of the island for recreation and for berry picking and hiking and exploring. It's an incredibly beautiful island and means a lot to people. It's a big part of their connection to their roots and their past. So the easement both protects the island and preserves its access in perpetuity.
This piece of the puzzle, though, how does that relate to protecting the coastline? How much of an important part of it was it?
Well, Nova Scotia's coastline, we only have about 10% protected at this point. And it's largely subdivided into tiny little fragments, 85% privately owned, and mostly, very narrow parcels of land. So the opportunity to actually connect that and protect such a large, intact, functioning, ecological mosaic of coastline is extremely rare in Nova Scotia. So it represents a huge win for coastal conservation, really one of the last opportunities of its size in the province. So we're really grateful to the community of municipality of the District of Lunenburg and the councillors for having the vision to explore or find a way that we could work together to protect it.
Now, the province is making a push for more resource development. I'm wondering if you have any thoughts on that.
I guess the Nature Trust role in that, the minister talked about balance and the need to continue advancing important protected areas while we're exploring opportunities for economic development. So I think where the Nature Trust fits in is our mission is and always will be protecting those areas that we can all agree are so ecologically unique and important that that's the priority. These are places that we need to protect. And so we will continue doing the work that we do and work with partners like the municipality that are keen to protect those most critical natural areas. It's not an either or. We can have economic development and protect our environment. So we're really excited to be a partner with the province in that environmental conservation mandate, and we're keen to keep going, and we encourage Nova Scotians to support our efforts to keep going. It's in our nature as Nova Scotians to care about nature and the environment and to step up when it needs us.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Coming up, as Virginia Giuffre's posthumous memoir is released, the pressure is mounting on Prince Andrew to do more than give up his royal titles.
And an internal report finds a new initiative aimed at retaining Air Force pilots was poorly thought out and led to dozens of grievances. Welcome back. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance says the fragile ceasefire agreement in Gaza is going better than expected. He is in Israel with other American envoys to shore up the U.S. peace deal after fighting broke out over the weekend.
This as Israel says Hamas has handed over the remains of 2 more hostages to the Red Cross. The CBC's Crystal Gamansing reports from Jerusalem.
U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance struck an optimistic tone, saying that he believes there is a very good chance of long-term peace holding in Gaza, saying that the way to peace is to focus on the future. He was surrounded by the flags of different nations at that press briefing and said there is a lot of interest in being part of the international security force. It is not set up yet, but he said that it will be critical ensuring peace in the long term for Gaza and for Palestinians.
If we get from where we were a week ago to a long-term, durable peace between Israel and Gaza, there are going to be hills and valleys. There are going to be moments where it looks like things aren't going particularly well. But given that, and given the history of conflict, I think that everybody should be proud of where we are today. It's going to require constant effort. It's going to require constant monitoring and supervision.
Now, he made a point of saying Hamas has to disarm and, quote, behave, and if it doesn't, very bad things will happen. As for the future of Gaza, we heard from the U.S. president's son-in-law and advisor, Jared Kushner. He said that there are good things in the works for Palestinians.
Everyone believes that it is possible to create something better in Gaza, and we have to believe it. We have to work hard for it, and if we all work hard to do that, then I do believe a great outcome is possible.
Whether or not there will be future violations of the ceasefire and the peace agreement, well, Vice President Vance said that there will be peaks and valleys, and that's to be expected, but he feels all sides are committed to the ceasefire and long-term peace. Crystal Gamansing, CBC News, Jerusalem.
A memoir by one of the most outspoken accusers of Jeffrey Epstein and Prince Andrew has come out. Virginia Giuffre's book is being published posthumously for 6 months after her death. It's already hitting some bestseller lists, adding to the public pressure on the royal family and the UK government to take action. Chris Brown reports.
It's a 30-room mansion a disgraced prince can still afford. British media wondering how Andrew could pay for it without the salary of a working royal discovered his rent is actually minuscule because he paid up front for the lease years ago. But his lavish lifestyle is an ongoing embarrassment to the royal family, and in stark contrast to the hardships revealed by his accuser, Virginia Giuffre, in her memoir. It was published Tuesday, 6 months after she died by suicide.
Very powerful in that it's from the grave with so many damaging allegations about Andrew.
Giuffre, who says she met Andrew when she was 17, alleges she had sex with him 3 times, including on convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein's island, and that she feared she would die a sex slave.
I have no recollection of ever meeting this lady.
While Andrew has denied the accusations, this royal correspondent says Giuffre hoped her book would compel Andrew to share everything he knows about Epstein.
Virginia Giuffre made it clear that she wanted him to own this story, to own the narrative, and to be upfront about it. And of course, he hasn't been.
The pressure is also intensifying on King Charles. He's set to meet the Pope this week, and the pair will pray at the Sistine Chapel, the first time a reigning monarch has done that in 500 years. But Andrew's controversies are threatening to overshadow the moment. On Friday, Andrew announced he would voluntarily no longer use royal titles, such as the Duke of York. But some feel there should have been more from the king.
So it should have been far more ruthless about the whole thing.
British parliamentarians are being urged to take action against Andrew too, to look into his mansion lease and possibly to formally strip him of his royal titles. Chris Brown, CBC News, London.
Canada's Auditor General says people are waiting too long on the phone when calling the Canada Revenue Agency and were often offered inaccurate information. It also flagged failings around military recruitment and housing. David Thurton has the details from Ottawa.
The Canada Revenue Agency usually does the auditing, but not today.
We are here to discuss the findings.
Canada's Auditor General released a report on Revenue Canada.
There's probably not an MP in the legislature that hasn't received calls about the slowness at CRA.
Why should Canadians tolerate this unacceptable service?
The audit found Canadians are waiting far too long on the phone. In June, only 5% of calls met the agency's 15-minute service standard. When callers get through, some receive wrong information.
They should expect that the Canada Revenue Agency will be available in a timely fashion and provide them with accurate information. And what we're seeing is that is not the case.
What is CRA going to do to fix it? And
Liberal ministers say they're working on solutions.
It's been very, very clear that the service levels have not been where they should be. So we have instituted a 100-day plan.
The Auditor General also released reports on the state of the military, one on recruitment, the other on housing. Both, she said, are linked.
The Canadian Armed Forces isn't recruiting enough members, and then they don't have enough housing for them. So this is going to impact retention.
According to one report, thousands apply annually, but only 1 in 15 progress. Also, the military is not tracking why potential applicants abandon their applications. Those that make it through find not enough housing and poor conditions, something this veteran and MP has raised.
Troops that are living in barracks, they're finding that they don't have hot water, mold, mice, rats, unsafe electrical equipment.
This is long overdue. For decades now.
The defense minister says the new Liberal government is looking at ways to accelerate military housing retrofits, saying overall, previous governments have underinvested in the Canadian Armed Forces. David Thornton, CBC News, Ottawa.
Now to a CBC News exclusive about the Royal Canadian Air Force and how a plan to fix a problem did anything but. The goal was to keep trained pilots from being lured to commercial jobs with better pay. The CBC's Murray Brewster now with the internal documents that show it's not working.
This takes a lot of piloting skill and experience, something the Air Force is struggling to maintain.
There has been a shortage of pilots and a low number of technicians. So we have put many initiatives in place.
That includes a 2021 pay restructuring intended to keep fully qualified pilots from bailing to the private sector. They get a bonus for experience and skills that mimics commercial airlines. According to internal documents obtained by CBC News, that plan had unintended consequences. Experienced captains and other mid-level officers can now be paid more than higher ranks. And pilots have filed 85 grievances. The commander of the Air Force looks at the upside.
We have been able to reattract some pilots who had retired back to the RCAF. Some of that was due to an increase in pilot pay specifically.
The aim of the bonus was to retain flyers, yet frontline fighter squadrons are only 66% staffed, just as they begin the switch to the F-35.
National Defence has a plan in place, but their current plan predicts that they will not have enough qualified pilots when all the planes are expected to arrive in Canada.
Commercial pilots have the potential to make over $350,000 a year, more than the country's top military commander. A retired senior Air Force officer says the system is not sustainable.
Having a junior officer getting paid more than a senior officer on the exact same unit doing the exact same thing, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And that just, underscores or shines a bright light on, the lack of thought.
In a statement, the Air Force stands by the new pay system. The internal report, however, says the Air Force ignored the experience of other allies and basically did its own thing, without much research into alternatives. Murray Brewster, CBC News, Ottawa.
General Motors is pulling the plug on its electric van production at its plant in Ingersoll, Ontario. The company says it's due to low market demand for the EV delivery van. Ottawa says it's joining forces with Ontario government and the Auto Workers Union to push for new production at the plant.
We are creating a response group to make sure that we're bringing a new model, because the 1,200 workers at the Ingersoll plant need to know that we're fighting for their jobs.
Some 1,200 people have been temporarily laid off since May and could now lose their jobs. They will receive 6 months' pay as well as other supports. While there are no firm plans for the plant, GM says it remains committed to discussions about its future and insists the move has nothing to do with trade or tariffs.
The cost of living rose again last month. StatsCan says inflation jumped to 2.4% in September, up from 1.9% in August, year over year. The higher than expected inflation rate was driven mainly by higher grocery prices, which were up 4%. Prices at the pumps and the cost of rent were also up from August. However, most economists are still expecting the Bank of Canada to cut interest rates again next week.
Well, as sports events go, it could not have been bigger or even more exciting. As we told you earlier, people across Canada still buzzing with excitement after the Toronto Blue Jays clinched the American League Championship Monday night, taking them to the World Series.
That's right, a come-from-behind victory, thanks in large part to a 3-run homer late in the game. The CBC's Jamie Strachan on the hit that sent the crowd roaring at the Rogers Centre, and the lucky fan who caught the ball.
Down 3-1 in the 7th inning, the end of a magical season appeared imminent. But with 2 base runners on, enter George Springer.
He's in a position to tie the game up and possibly send this Blue Jays crowd into a frenzy.
He did more than tie it.
And a swing and a fly ball to left field. Back goes Rosarena. She's gone!
The 381-foot blast set off a sustained frenzy.
I'm just so happy for everybody here, our fans, our city, our country. This is for them.
As the ball cleared the wall, the Jays' dugout erupted like little leaguers.
And you see players and coaches reacting the way they did, kind of surreal in the moment when you're witnessing a historic swing for the organization.
In the stands, Michael Angeletti saw the ball soaring towards his seat in the left field bleachers.
My baseball-savvy seatmates, who I didn't know because I went to the game solo, they instantly were tracking the ball. I was watching them track it. That gave me a minute to half put on my glove.
When the ball finally landed, chaos. The Springer dinger instantly part of Blue Jay lore, alongside Roberto Alomar's homer in 1992.
And this game is tied. 1-1 for Tyson.
Jose Batista's bat flip in 2015. And of course, Joe Carter's 1993 World Series winner.
Touch them all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life.
I can only say one thing to George Springer. Welcome to the 3-run homer club.
This one propelling the Jays back into the World Series for the first time since Joe touched them all.
He's been doing it his whole life, and nothing bigger than that one right there.
Jamie Strachan, CBC News, Toronto.
This weather update is brought to you in part by Atlantic Lottery's iGames. Play hundreds of games on the Atlantic Lottery app or at alc.ca.
All right, what do you think we're getting tonight in the Ryan's Picks? Puddles or what?
No, I don't
Seems
think so.
appropriate somehow, doesn't it?
Yes, they'd be very valuable.
Something
right?
prettier, though, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, one big puddle, and then it's a lake. But we're going to zoom in on the city of lakes. And, of course, beautiful Dartmouth. There's so many lakes to choose from, but we're going to go in to Oat Hill Lake, and a small lake, but a beautiful lake.
Oh, very nice.
A little bit of everything there,
I like
the beautiful
the
water,
crimson,
yeah,
right?
the color, yeah, it's nice.
Absolutely perfect shot here. Thanks so much to Christy Reed for sharing Ryan's Picks at cbc.ca. I say it every night. There are so many pictures coming in. I wish I could share them all. Now have a look at this. Note the rain departing Cape Breton. Note for Wednesday, we'll see, I think, a mix of sun and cloud to start the day for most, becoming mainly sunny for Cape Breton and eastern parts of the mainland. And then we're going to see the clouds building back in. That next round of wet weather will be tracking in throughout the afternoon and evening from west to east. And yes, that will drop 5 to 10 millimeters by the looks of things along the Atlantic coastline, perhaps a little bit more towards the eastern shore, Cape Breton, and possibly a little bit more towards Yarmouth and Digby and Shelburne counties as well. Note, by the time we get to Thursday, that system clearing out, looking at some quiet conditions, and then that little wave that's going to gather some steam just to our south will at least bring a chance for some showers into the mix for Cape Breton, Guysborough County, eastern parts of the mainland on Friday. And that will then clear out, and it does look like, a pretty nice dry punch there moving into the region for later Friday into Saturday, but some cooler air. We'll talk about that in just a second. So there's Wednesday, temperatures 16 to 18 degrees with those showers on the march, and then we are looking at Thursday, similar type temperatures, punching well above where we should for this time of year. Now for Friday, it does look like we'll see some increasing clouds, as I said, with a chance for showers in the east. Saturday and Sunday, some cooler air aloft, so it does look like it's just going to be unsettled with a chance for some showers. The best chances are going to be Saturday, particularly over eastern parts of the mainland and Cape Breton. And then a risk again for early next week, which is not a bad thing.
No, it isn't. You're right. Thanks, Ryan. Well, yesterday, many cities across India were doing justice to the other name for Diwali, the Festival of Lights. Fireworks and sparklers are just one part of the celebrations.
Millions of homes decked with traditional lamps, with people dressed up and hosting lavish feasts, and friends and families exchanging gifts and sweets.
According to Hindu legend, the festival marks the return of the deity Rama from exile after he vanquished from the powerful demon king of Lanka.
What a show.
Oh, beautiful.
Beautiful.
That's it for us tonight. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Good night.
Good night.